And we're on.
Okay, you guys, welcome back to the RL podcast. Today we have a very special guest. We have Riley, who is a businesswoman. She's a waxer and she's an esthetician, and she's our official first guest. So
Woo-hoo!
Thank you so much for being here.
Yay.
Thank you so much for having me.
We are so excited, and I've been going to her for the past few months to get my Brazilian wax, and there's a million and one reasons why I can tell you to go to her, but we'll get into that.
So sweet. Thank you.
Passing on to you, take us back to the beginning. How did you get into all of this, and basically take us from how you started to where you're at now?
Okay.
No pressure.
So
No
it's
pressure.
a long journey. So I graduated the Skin Institute in 2017.
How did you decide you wanted to go to a skin institute? I've never heard of a skin institute. That's cool.
So I wanted to be, so it's like a school for estheticians.
Okay.
So I knew I wanted to be an esthetician because I've always been very into doing makeup.
That's why your makeup looks so good today. She walked in, I was like, your makeup looks so good.
Thank you. Well, I used to do really cool things like, glitter cut creases and like neon colors. Now I have kids, so I don't really get to do that anymore. But I thought that I wanted to be a makeup artist. And then in aesthetic school, I very quickly realized that I did not want to be a makeup artist. It just sounded like way too scary, like doing bridal makeup. And that's not really...
Pressure's on. When
I feel like it's high pressure, and that's not the style that I enjoyed doing. I wanted to do like fun.
A costume.
Yeah. Fun, crazy look. So after I graduated, I ended up working at a boutique waxing place, and I ended up working there for pretty much all of my aesthetics career. So I was doing full body waxing there. I waxed men and women, but I didn't do male Brazilians there.
Okay.
And then when I finally decided to go solo, I went solo in August of last year.
Congrats.
Thank you. I always want to say I offer waxing to everyone, and so I was like, I can't say I'm waxing everyone if I don't wax men. So then I started waxing men, and now I do full body waxing for men and women.
Was that like a big
Yes.
change? Okay.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say, it literally brings me into thinking like when you have to practice waxing and become good at it, because it's not like you just get out of school and like suddenly you know how to wax. Like, are you
Right.
practicing on live models? Do they volunteer? Like, how does this work? And especially for men too, like I feel like it's a little more sensitive. The area is.
I can only
No.
imagine. No?
Oh,
No.
tea.
I don't think so.
Okay, dive into
Are
that.
men just a little bit more babies than us?
It depends. They're either like such a baby, or they're not flinching. I'm like, are you okay? And they're like, I'm fine. And like they like don't make a noise.
Oh
So it's like
my
you either
gosh.
get one or the other. But usually they're fine.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say it's probably either like hardcore, like no,
Yes.
like I'm getting waxed, or it's
Yeah.
like absolutely not. Mm-hmm. Because
It's just the scene from 40-Year-Old Version that's just like through my mind
and
right
that's
now.
what everyone worries about. Every time I have a new like male client come in, it's their first time waxing. They're like, "Is it gonna be like 4-Year-Old Virgin?" I'm like,
Everyone
"No,
thinks
it's
it.
not going to be like that. I promise." They did such a bad job in that movie.
It was just for the funny, not for reality,
Yeah,
guys.
it
It
was
wasn't
just-
a documentary on waxing.
No, not
Okay,
at all.
I actually don't know that scene, so I feel a little left out. But that's my bad because I just am terrible at movies to begin with. But
Well, he's getting waxed. He's just like full like
It's chest. He's getting his chest.
Oh,
he's getting a chest
okay.
wax. It's like so hairy, and then he's like screaming like, Kelly Clarkson.
Also, it goes over his nipple, but yeah, that's his reaction.
Well, we go
my
over the nipple.
That's typical.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch.
see, there's a lot of things that we think is like, oh,
Yeah.
that doesn't happen, but then you're in the position where it's like, oh no, that's real. Like, no, we totally go over that and do that.
That actually makes a lot of sense when you think about it. But again, it's one of those things, if you don't think about it, you just wouldn't really know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and they just like, they didn't apply the wax properly or anything. But I get clients who come in and then I'll like pull it off and they're like joking and they're like, Kelly Clarkson.
Oh my god.
So I hear it
I think
quite
I would
often.
die laughing if somebody
Yeah.
said Kelly Clarkson at this point.
Yeah.
But okay, so you went to school to get your like esthetician's license. How long is that school or the process? Like, what is that like?
They have different programs. It depends on if you want to go part-time or full-time. I went full-time. I think I was done in 9 months, but it also depends on the
nice.
school, how many hours you go to. My school is 950 hours, I believe, which is above the state requirement, but it makes it so that if you move to another state who has higher requirements, you can get a dual license and you don't have to go back to school.
Amazing.
So did you know you wanted to go into waxing?
No.
Okay.
No, I never.
Or like well,
Yeah.
you said makeup, and then because I guess I'm thinking like it's something that I always had so much fun doing as a kid, and I guess I'm talking as a point of if in the future I choose to go into like an esthetician school, part of me is like, why didn't I just pursue that desire in the first place? You know, like at the
Have you
very
thought about
get-go.
it?
I have, yeah, but like
Yeah.
for facial type stuff.
Yeah.
Waxing's really fun though, I'm sure.
Yes.
But like
But I feel like that's like with so many different types of school. You go in, or literally anything that you do in life, right? Like you start somewhere.
That's true.
And then it's like life leads you to just out of need or situations, you end up filling the space that needs to be filled due to skill. I mean, you said that you got the job at that waxing place.
Yes.
So I'm assuming it just kind of developed naturally, or...
Oh, yeah. It was all on the job training. I mean, when you're in aesthetic school, you do not come out knowing how to wax
Oh my
hardly
gosh.
at all.
oh, seriously?
No, I mean, you know the basics, but I mean, a full leg in aesthetic school, that would have taken me like an hour and a half or 2 hours just to do a full leg. So, I mean, you know how to
Really?
apply it, but you're doing like baby sections. So you have to figure out on the job how to do speed waxing.
Oh, wow.
Well, that makes sense because, of course, how are you going to scale it if it takes you an hour and a half to do one person's leg?
Right.
And they're not going to want to come again because they're going to be sitting
Yeah.
there forever.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you practice Brazilians and how do you practice manzillions then when you come out of esthetician school?
So my boss, I watched her for several days. I just watched her, and then I got people coming in for discounted services.
Okay.
I think it started out, I think I had 1 day of free services, and I had just back-to-back people for practice, and then after that it was all discounted.
It makes sense.
But I mean, it was the most stressful. Like, I was crying, like, on the phone, like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, what if I, like, rip someone's labia off? Or,
no,
like...
literally, that's what I would
Yeah.
be scared of.
No, it was so stressful.
But that's like what I guess freaks me out about it. And I have a really funny story. During COVID, we couldn't get our waxing done.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like you can't go to your girl. So my mom and I had the brilliant idea. Sorry, Mom, I'm putting you on the spot. To give each other Brazilian waxes.
Oh, my
Oh
God.
my God.
And we bought hard wax, and we decided to give each other a Brazilian each. And when I tell you, it just did not go well. Like,
Yeah.
there's such a technique of
I
like
mean,
having enough wax.
how do you make sure you
to
don't
be able to
rip off
pull
someone's
it.
labia?
No, that's exactly it. I mean, it was just I mean, I wish it was on reality TV. 'Cause it
No,
was
I
just
have
hilarious.
so
but
many
like,
clients texting me during that time.
Oh,
So many.
no.
They were like, there's wax all over my carpet in the bathroom, or like I have wax stuck to me, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't help
like
you.
you have to rip it
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. Well, I tell people all the time, I'm like, please don't try to wax yourself at home. Any client I have who has tried it, they come in and they're like, it was a horrible experience.
Well, that is the scary thing about, like, I don't know, taking this up and going into, like, if you're going to wax yourself, you put the wax on. There's literally only one way to get it off.
yeah, you
Like,
gotta
you're
take it off.
committed. You
Yeah.
got to get it off.
I think a lot of people just probably don't actually know like how to properly do it, like
Right.
where you lay it on and take it off and stuff. But I remember my mom wouldn't let me shave because she's French, so she would wax my legs and stuff. And then eventually I was like, I'm gonna go get this done.
That's so great. So since you were little.
Basically, I mean, I definitely primarily shave
Yeah.
now, except for like the bikini area because not worth shaving down there. Just take it all off if you can.
Yeah.
But otherwise I grew up familiar with it, but to a lot of people it's extremely taunting. So yeah, but but we do it. So it's I mean,
Yeah.
you get through it. I remember my first wax very well. But yeah.
First one's always the worst.
And we were, so when Riley was here just a moment ago, my fiance Hayden was as well, and we were telling her that I waxed his back last summer, you guys. And that's what we were trying to tell him. We're like, no, like the first time is just the worst. So he is like, okay, like maybe I would try it again. But again, I attempted to wax my fiance's back. So I like don't have all this history of like the prep and then the aftercare. He ended up with little red bumps all over his back.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for him. I was just dousing him in aloe all summer.
All summer?
No, I mean, maybe like a month though. It was kind of a while. Yeah, it kind of went on.
It sounds like he had folliculitis.
Poor guy.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Okay, so do you see what's the most common fear that clients come in with when they come to see you?
So they're scared of two things. They're scared of the pain, and then the second thing is they're insecure about how they smell, how they look, of being judged. I think that's the number one thing that prevents people from waxing, which
I
makes
would
me
guess
really
that.
sad. Yeah.
And I
So-
know that's huge. Like you I mean, that's like your entire brand. It's just like acceptance to everyone and just wanting everyone to feel super comfortable with it. Like, I guess what piece of advice do you have for new time waxers?
Or somebody who feels insecure and like that's what's holding them back from coming in.
Yeah. So I've made a few videos on this, and I have it on my website.
Feel free to shout out your website.
Yeah, BarrettLWaxLounge.com. I tell people that I'm basically like a doctor. After you see 15 vulvas like all day, every day, it's basically like seeing an elbow for me. So there's nothing weird about it to me. There's nothing I haven't seen before. As a waxer, you know, you have to be able to handle smells, different body types,
Right.
different hair textures, everything.
Right.
So there's really nothing that could throw me for a loop at this point after doing it for 8 years.
Wow.
That's amazing. 8 years too.
Yeah.
So 8 years experience. What is your favorite body part to wax then? Is there one like just easier or just a more satisfying wax? I don't know.
Lately I've been loving to do underarms. They grow so funny. Every single, like even on the same person, the left side is different from the right side.
Oh, so interesting.
But people really love watching underarm waxing videos.
And for underarms, like coming from a female perspective as well, like you do have to let the hair grow if you want to go get it waxed.
Yeah, that first grow up period is the hardest. After
Right.
that, it's fine.
I remember I've watched my friends go through that where they're like, I can't shave.
Yeah, that first one, it's really
Yeah.
hard. That's why some people don't do the underarms. And
Just
I
takes
did it
time.
for a while because I was like, oh my gosh, I just don't think I can grow it out.
Yeah.
But my hair is so thin now.
So
Amazing.
that's what I was going to say. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the more you wax, the thinner your hair becomes.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a new hair follicle, or it's a new, is it a hair follicle or just a new hair in the hair follicle every time?
temporarily traumatizes the root.
Oh.
And the
In a
roots
good
get
way.
smaller and smaller. Yeah.
Okay.
So clients who have been waxing for years and years, I mean, they hardly have any hair.
Okay. That's exactly what I thought.
Well, that's what happened to me. Like I get Brazilians and then I was like, oh, maybe I'll just like let it go for a while. I've been doing it for years. I don't have thick hair to begin with.
Right.
Because I'm more pale blonde kind of girl. And so, yeah, I got nothing to grow out at this point.
Yeah.
I do. The problem is like my stomach's so big as I can't see down there anymore.
Yes,
So I'm
yeah.
like,
It's a nice pregnancy.
Which
No,
I get
it's
that
not
question
fun.
all the time. They're like, can I wax if I'm pregnant? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. A ton of women like to get waxed right before they give birth. That way they don't have to worry about it.
I have
That's
heard
why I'm-
that before.
I'm waiting. I've got 2.5-ish months left until my delivery date, and I'm like saving it for like the last possible moment.
Yes, yeah.
What? Okay. I can like make predictions or whatever, but like if you're in the delivery room and all things are going wild down there, is it just like what is it? It just
It's
crosses your
fine.
mind like just one more thing to be clean or like what?
I think actually you can speak on this too because we're both mamas.
Yeah.
But like I personally, it's like one less thing to have to think about postpartum.
Yeah, it's more so postpartum. It's not
'Cause
like
then you don't have to worry about getting it done for a long time.
well, so like when you're postpartum, you bleed for like 6 weeks, and you're not allowed to wear tampons. So you're wearing
Not allowed.
you're wearing diapers for like
Yeah.
6 weeks, and
Yeah.
sometimes with like
I didn't think about that. I'm the
Just
not
like
mama
a-
of the crowd.
with like a full bush and a diaper. It's just there's a lot of things going on.
It gets a little
Yeah.
steamy. It gets a
Yeah.
little steamy in the summer.
Damn. Okay.
I will say, do not get your first wax when you're 9 months pregnant. I would not recommend that.
Oh yeah, because sometimes you've asked me, you're like, is it more sensitive right now because of water retention? That's the same for periods,
oh my
right?
gosh.
Too.
So
Or,
it all
like-
depends on like hormonal fluctuation. So if you've started or stopped birth control, if you're pregnant, yeah.
I had no idea that any of that can affect.
Oh yeah. So
You're
if you're
waxing or you're
PMSing, you
feeling?
don't want to get waxed right before your period. When you get on your periods, the hormones start dropping off. So then you'll feel less sensitive.
So the best time to get a wax is like right after your period.
Yes.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's a hot
'Cause
tip.
think about it, because like your body holds so much water and stuff too, and then don't you like once you flush it out and you're not bloated anymore, then I feel like
I don't know if it's about the water retention. That could
Oh,
be
okay.
it, but I know it's about
Just the
different
hormones fluctuating.
okay,
Yeah.
that probably makes more
I-
sense. You're right.
Okay, hot tip there, you guys. I didn't know that one. Learn
Yeah.
something new every day.
Yes.
I know there's a lot of benefits when it comes to waxing over shaving, but I'm hoping you can maybe remind me of a few. Like, you know, why is it better or more important to do?
So when you're shaving, your hair is going to grow back. I mean, you're going to have stubble the next day. You're going to have horrible razor burn. With waxing, you don't have any of that. With shaving, you're just chopping it off right at the surface. And I mean, a lot of times it's like,
A little bit. Like, you
Yeah,
can't even get
it's
all
still-
the way to the surface.
right. And you have that razor burn. And so if you're trying to stay hairless and you're having to like shave every day and that razor burn is so uncomfortable, with waxing, you're pulling the hair out from underneath the surface from the root. And it is temporarily damaging the follicle. So then it grows back thinner each time. And you have less and less hair over time because you're just damaging it more.
I felt so bad watching. Like, I remember being in high school and I had some friends who would literally shave every single day because, you know,
I
you're an
couldn't.
insecure high school
couldn't.
girl. The razor burn, unreal. I mean, like, I would get razor burn. Like, it's just, I have sensitive skin. It's like
Yeah.
almost like if you have sensitive skin,
Oh,
waxing
yeah.
would be better.
Yes. Oh, 1000%.
Is there like a benefit to different types of wax?
Any waxer is going to have a different opinion on that.
Okay.
I use both. I like soft and hard wax. I
Okay.
mainly use soft wax. It's becoming very trendy to only use hard wax. I don't personally prefer that.
Okay, what's the difference between the two for someone who's like never waxed before in their lives?
So soft wax, you apply the wax and then you have to remove it with the strip. With the hard wax, you apply it, it hardens, and then you just peel it off.
It itself. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The soft wax is a little bit more abrasive, but it does a better job.
Okay.
That's good to know.
Because I'm like thinking back to my wax and something that you did. I originally came to you because I had gotten a wax done. I was at European Wax Center. And
The chain we shall not name.
there you go. Exactly. I might get canceled by them, but you know what? I've gone there way too much and had too many anyways, I think this girl, like you said, had no experience coming out of school and probably never really, I was probably one of her first testers or whatever.
Oh no.
And so it was a little traumatizing, not only to my hair follicles, but to me too. And like, I was like, okay, I'm done. I can't do
Like,
this
just
anymore.
in the way that she was performing the wax?
It
Or
was, I believe, they only use hard wax,
Yes.
I think. So,
Yeah. They have one wax.
Right.
okay. So then they only use hard wax. And you can probably go into this more too, but like, my understanding, like, when I go to see you, you're like, okay, hold your skin so it's more taut. So it's not like you're just ripping, the wax off and your skin's like going
going
with
up
it.
with it, yeah.
And
So
then
they don't have you do that?
not there. They didn't. No, it was like,
She's like, everyone keep a
Yeah.
lookout.
No, in that moment, it was like the hair wasn't being pulled or the wax wasn't being pulled fast enough. It was kind of like, I'm scared. So like, I'm going to do it
Oh.
slowly. And then, so it wasn't taut. And then I could tell that like the wax wasn't totally either dried enough. So then some of it would come off, some of it wouldn't. And then, like there wasn't enough base to like get the little tab up to be able to do it. So it was just like, I could tell she was nervous. And
Oh,
luckily
yeah.
I was experienced enough to be like,
Yeah.
okay, like in the end, I'm going to come out of here alive. Like it's going to get done. It's fine.
Well, and to know that, like, don't let that ruin
Right.
your experience of waxing altogether.
That's true. That's true.
Because
But-
that does happen to a lot of people.
Oh,
I mean, one
I'm
bad
sure.
experience and somebody could easily get turned off and be like, nope, I'll just stick to shaving or something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you have, like, any tips for post waxing? Like, what is the TLC aftercare that you need
to avoid the folliculitis?
Yeah, to avoid folliculitis. So your follicles are open after waxing, so you want to avoid anything that would get bacteria in the follicle. So no working out, nothing where you're sweating. You don't want to go swimming, soak in a hot tub. Yeah, just pretty much avoid bacteria getting in the skin. I tell people to freestyle it after their wax appointment if you can. Wear loose fitting sweatpants so nothing's rubbing, there's no friction. People who work out, they are more prone to getting ingrown hairs. So I just kind of let them know that. Try to avoid. I personally tell my clients to freestyle it all the time because if you're wearing underwear and there's like
Right on the
constant
edges.
friction, yeah, you'll notice that you'll get like more ingrowns on the bikini line.
Okay.
And
So
then-
freestyle when you can.
Is it like,
people.
are you
It's the best advice.
Are you pro thong, or is
No.
it not relevant? You're not pro thong. Just
No.
like better to like free ball.
Yes.
Not free ball. Sorry,
Wait,
but like
Are you so you're not pro thong in comparison to underwear or just in comparison to like free ball?
I mean, I love how thongs look. if you're like trying to have like a sexy night, like yeah, go for it. But you're flossing the bacteria from the front to the back.
okay, this is what I've been hearing recently.
And you're supposed to, for waxing, you are supposed to wear loose fitting cotton underwear. But it's better to freestyle it.
been hearing recently a lot more about wearing cotton underwear, and then the fact that thongs, like you said, is like a floss between bacteria.
Yes.
And I never thought of it like that.
I never thought of it
Nev-
like that.
Yeah, but for someone who, and this is like,
Oh no. Now I'm
what?
mind blown by that. A thong is a
I thought
floss of
something
bacteria.
happened. No, yeah, so
Someone
like-
said on my paper. Oh my gosh, a floss of bacteria.
Yeah,
I've never
that's what
heard
the
that.
gyno said to me. It just flosses the bacteria from the front.
So
or
now
from the
I'm
back
like-
to the front and vice versa, yeah.
Oh,
Now I'm trying to be like a little more conscious of what quality my underwear is,
Yeah.
just to like avoid any sort of like potential problem that can come down the road, because I feel like it's so easy for a fresh wax to be done, and then I know I'm guilty of this, but like sometimes I don't always listen to that like 24-hour window, and I'm like, I'm gonna go work out, or
I was
like
gonna say I'm
the
gonna
next
go to the
day
gym
I'm
the
like,
next
oh,
morning.
I'm good.
No, but then if I
And
get
then I
an
regret it.
ingrown,
And then I regret it.
if I get an ingrown, I'm just like, well, that one's not me. You know what I mean? I'm like, I
Yeah.
was asking for it, like my bad.
Can you tell is there such a thing as like a botched wax job? And have you ever had
Yes.
someone like come to you that like needs?
Yes. Yeah, all the time.
Oh,
all the
no.
time. I can tell if like a previous waxer has been like breaking the hair off. Usually it's from the chain that we shall not name. And it's not even like, I don't like the structure of the chain. It's not the waxers themselves. I'm sure that the waxers are incredible, but they have to follow the company's protocol, and it's not a good protocol. So the waxers there, I love them. I've had esthetician friends I went to school with who worked there. They don't treat their employees well. So it's not the waxer's fault. I just don't like European.
Okay.
Well, okay. So in terms of like aftercare, getting a wax, any hot tips for us in terms of then self-tan after a wax?
So I would say, if possible, I would recommend, I guess in this case, wearing like the disposable underwear that they give you. If you're getting a spray, if they're spraying you, they
Okay.
should give you like a disposable, or you could just wear a thong if you're self-tanning yourself. If you're getting Brazilians, like the alcohol in the self-tanner is going to dry out your skin so much. So you could notice a ton of ingrowns, because you want to keep the skin super moisturized and soft all the time with, like a fragrance-free face moisturizer or an ingrown hair oil. But if you're self-tanning that area, which I've done before and I still do sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, why do I have so many ingrowns? It's because it's drying out the skin so much, and it's just trapping those hairs underneath. because that's why we want to
Yeah.
exfoliate and moisturize. We want to soften the skin so that the hairs can pop out, and then we want to exfoliate to take off the dead skin cells at the top that are trapping the hairs underneath.
Okay. How often should someone exfoliate after a wax?
So you want to wait 48 hours, but then you want to do 3 to 4 times a week.
Okay.
And then you want
Okay.
to moisturize every day. You can even moisturize twice a day. The softer your skin is,
I'm
the
feeling all of
better.
a sudden like I have no idea how to care for myself.
Yeah,
these
no,
days.
same. Like, I really thought I knew a bunch. Now I'm realizing that it was just skimming the surface.
I know. I'm like, I know the basic, like, okay, don't work out, don't have
Yeah.
sex 24 hours
Yeah,
after a wax.
I forgot to
like,
mention that. Yeah, no sex for 24.
don't cause the
48
friction
hours.
down there. I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know all of these extra little tips. So I love
so
that.
your top moisturizing brand then for down there, because I'm going to need to know this. 'Cause-
I do the Bush Balm Ingrown Hair Serum.
oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah, the oil.
Okay.
But if anyone has like a fragrance-free face moisturizer at home, you can use that too.
Okay.
That is good to know. So Bear Doll Wax Lounge, you just opened it in August.
Yes.
What has been something maybe surprising to you or particularly challenging to you of owning your business?
Nothing has been like too hard so far. Yeah, knock on wood. I mean, I feel like I had realistic expectations going into it. I knew I was starting from scratch. I had to completely, and I'm still working on building my clientele
portfolio.
up. So I knew that, right when I opened my books, I wasn't going to have like 20 people a day or whatever. And I also kind of expected, I knew that I would basically have to become like a content creator. I probably didn't know like how much.
I feel like that's like I was at my friend's wedding this weekend and I got my hair and makeup done. So I was the same thing from those girls, they're saying like, oh, like, do you mind if I film you? Because it's like the amount of content that you have to create if you want, I get it. This is like the era of everyone kind of having their own brand and like creating branding, but like to have any sort of like beauty and aesthetics related business, I get it because I am heavily the consumer. I scroll.
Oh, absolutely.
And those are like my favorite videos though. Like I
Yeah.
love watching like anything aesthetic. So what has that been like for having to create all of that?
It's been interesting. I mean, you really you have to like let go of all your insecurities. It's so awkward, if I like start going down the rabbit hole of like, oh my gosh, like these acquaintances from high school that I have,
Oh,
like,
I know.
oh, they're going to be watching me. You just have to completely let it go. And I'm sure that you guys have experienced that as well.
That's my biggest thing is like you have to be your own biggest fan because it's
Yeah.
like if you're not going to shout out yourself so hard, like it's kind of like why should anyone else,
It's probably like the easiest thing to do that is the most complicated to actually put out there.
Yes.
Like it's some stuff, like it's so simple to take a 20-second video or like a little video and just post it. And for some reason, it's like, it feels like sometimes the most taunting task.
Yes.
Is to just like make this video.
I feel like it's almost like
or piece of content.
I'm
Like,
also just like completely making like judgments and guessing here, but like I feel like it's probably easier for like more like kids these days, whatever, who are like growing up more in social media because it's like for us, like we remember like the before it was everything, you know what I mean? And like before people were out there like creating reels, so it's like we have to get over that hump of like, oh no, like it's fine.
Yeah.
Like we were at the beginning like judging those people.
But it really
Now we
is.
all are
It
them.
really is like the only way that I will go to someone now, specifically or especially hairstylists. Like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, I'm not going to if you don't have social media, because like if you have the social media, then I can see your latest techniques and I can see like how you do your blonde, and it's just so important. And same, I think, with like waxing, the fact that you even had a profile is just that much more reassurance of being like, oh, okay, she knows what she's doing. Like, this is interesting. Like, clearly she cares about her own business, which means she's going to care about her clients. And then all the messaging that you put out there was just like an even like bigger plus of being like, okay, this is probably going to be a really good experience. Like,
That's good feedback.
Is
Yeah.
that how you think most of your clients find you these days?
TikTok became the number one way of me getting clients, and that's why I was so sad when I thought that they were shutting it down. I was kind of like freaking out. I was like, no.
I mean, that's what people were saying. They felt bad for all of those like small business owners who exactly in your situation.
Yeah, but I would say TikTok is probably the number one. I do get a lot of people from Google, so it's TikTok or Google. I still struggle posting. I mainly post on TikTok, and I post any of like my like more explicit or like inappropriate stuff on TikTok. I don't do that as much on Instagram. I'll do like a little bit, but I do have like family and stuff on there. So
yeah, I completely get that. That's the funny thing about putting yourself out there. Like you know, you do have these people in your life that you do wonder maybe what their takeaway is, but at the same time, we're all adults here. So
I know. I need to completely, I say all the time, I'm like, I just need to let go of that.
I know.
It helps me because Rachel always said that to me about like even this podcast. She's like, but if they like, you know, how would you be if you weren't, you know, held back by like the thought that somebody was watching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's hard. Like there's sometimes where I'm like, I'm critiquing just the way I look. And I'm like, I don't want to post this on my own personal page because I don't like the way I look. And then I'm just like, who cares?
Yeah.
Literally, who cares? Like, people know who I am. People know what I look like. And if girls don't go home and, like, slug their faces and whatever, like, do whatever they want to, like, get into their bedtime routine and then expect other women to not do the same, then it's like, okay, well, then that was on you. But it's a little, it can be challenging for sure. But
I also feel like the audiences matter. So, like, on Facebook, I don't post reels at all. Instagram, I do a little, like Instagram's in the middle.
More
and then
curated,
TikTok,
right?
Yeah. TikTok,
it's like everything, blast it all.
Yeah, I think it's the age group on TikTok. Like they love it. They eat it up. Yeah.
It's a hit. Have you found that like some of your more like what content do you think gets the most traction on Instagram then? Like, have you found that sweet spot of like, oh, if I just talk about things bluntly, like people really respond to that? Or is it like if I kind of keep it more educational, people respond to that?
Probably just, honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I don't love Instagram.
Okay, like eliminate Instagram altogether.
I would if I could.
These days, I really didn't even start TikTok till like this year, like right before the ban became a thing. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm with you. I'll place it higher than Instagram, and I never thought I'd say that.
No, it's true.
Love
okay, last time I came to you, I bought something.
Vajazzles.
What the heck are those for people that don't know?
They look so cute. I died laughing when she gave this to me. It was amazing.
Everyone thinks they're a joke.
I was like,
not everyone.
Take two. Thank you.
Not everyone. A lot of clients actually have loved them. I freaking love them. But some people, when I first announced them, they're like, wait, a vajazzle? Like, that's a thing? I'm like, yes, it's so cute.
I was shocked because Rachel said, too, like, they could even last, like, up to a week. So take us back. Like, what are they? Sorry, fill the people in.
So basically, do you guys remember, like... Well, I guess I'm older than you guys, I think.
If it's the era of, like, the Playboy bunny tanning thing.
That's what we were talking about when she gave them to me.
Yeah, so it's basically like when you used to lay in the tanning bed and you do, like, a cute little sticker of the Jazzles. Basically, like, okay, you're going to the beach or the pool and you want a cute little rhinestone instead of, like, a white, you know, Playboy bunny or...
We love
face.
the girly sparkly things.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm all here for it, honestly.
But also, I had another client come in and she was like, oh my gosh, I just went to a bachelorette in Nashville and I wish I had the cowboy hat vajazzle.
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
that would have been good for you in Austin for your bachelor party.
The exact time
Yeah.
specifically went to use it because that is kind of the thing. Like, when are all these people using the vajazzles? Like, me and Rachel are like, you know, you got to go home and be your best porn star self for your husband.
Totally.
That makes sense. So, gotta have
I
that.
actually haven't used them yet because I'm kind of like saving them, but like,
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Well, the funniest, you're like, maybe I'll use them in combo with my in-laws or something.
Wait, so the funny thing is I did bring them. Yeah. And my mother-in-law was like laughing and
I'm telling you.
But she brought up the Playboy bunny one too. Like the cherries. She brought it out and I was like, we're good. But like, as in like I'm in the clear, but I didn't wear them because the grandparents were, you know, it was just like, but I would have. They were with me.
Yeah.
We love-
But I didn't.
Okay.
Love it.
Any last tips or tricks or bestowing your wisdom?
I have one question too.
Oh, just kidding.
You've introduced vajacial?
Vajacials, yeah.
Vajacial.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're gonna need to get into it.
Yeah.
Can you walk
Before
me
we
through?
close it off, I need to know more about this because I might want to get one before baby comes. So.
Well,
Yeah.
and I'm a girl who does get the ingrowns from time to time, so I'm assuming that this is going to help target that. I mean,
Yes. So I have two options. I have the breakout shield one, which is great for ingrown hairs, and then I have a brightening one, which is for my clients who struggle with hyperpigmentation.
Okay.
But we're going to cleanse the skin, and it's all cold. Everything is cold instead of hot towels like you would for a facial, because we just waxed you and your skin is very sensitive. So like the cold is very soothing. So we're going to do ice globes, extractions. We're going to do a mask, oil. But that's, yeah, it's pretty much like a mini facial, but right after you get waxed.
So excited to hear about this because I love skincare.
Me too.
And I definitely want that. And I have many experiences with the chain that shall not be named, and they would never.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of times that's another issue. A lot of times my clients who are coming from European, they're having like so many ingrown hairs, and then, you know, they sell you like on all these like products and
Yeah.
serums.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, the vajacials are great, and I call it the vajacial, but we can actually, like, if a guy is doing like a chest or stomach wax or a back wax and he's experiencing breakouts or ingrowns, we can pretty much do it on any part of the body. So
That's amazing.
gosh. Okay.
Just like some
Could
skincare
we-
TLC.
yeah,
Could we come in and like film this and like
yeah,
I think
share
we're
it?
gonna have to.
I think we're gonna
Yes.
have to as well because like I really kind of like I need. That sounds amazing.
yeah. And also, if either of you wear the vajazzle, I want a picture so I can post it.
Yeah, girl, we'll do that. We'll
Yes.
for sure do that. But okay, that's amazing. This is like turning something that like I think people kind of get like freaked out with sometimes, you know. And like you said, have to be a bit out of their comfort zone
Yeah.
sometimes to at least meet a new actor or go to a new place altogether for any
Totally.
kind of service.
Do you let people come in with friends, like girlfriends? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Like or like a support.
Rachel's just making sure she
support
can come with
person.
me.
Oh yeah, totally.
Well, because I'm like, if we're on the topic of like comfort, so I remember my first Brazilian wax, and I had my friend there with me.
Yeah.
and we just like had to do it together because we're like, okay,
Yeah.
what's all the hype? And you're in high school, and you're like, ah.
It's a very vulnerable experience. Sometimes people ask if they can bring their partner in the room, and I've like had like not so great experiences with that. So if a partner comes in the room, like, you have to sit in the chair and stay there.
It's a little
keep your mouth shut
uncomfortable.
and don't say anything.
I mean, that kind of is the same as like the gyno, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's amazing. I'm very excited for like this kind of like more luxe style of waxing and all that can come with it. And vajacials are now going to be my new exciting skincare thing. And we'll have to try vajazzles.
Yes.
And I'm loving all of the vag new dictionary that I'm
Yes.
compiling here. So that's
Sometimes because waxing is so intimate, have you ever had something happen that has just been super uncomfortable, and how do you handle that as a female business owner?
So I definitely have had that happen. It's been a little bit more common now that I'm waxing men, and I have had to fire male clients
Oh my
before
gosh.
and recently, and it's even made me like consider stopping
Sure.
waxing male clients. But I had a client come in for a Brazilian. It was his first time getting waxed, my first time meeting him, and it went great. He was so kind, like the kindest man ever. You know, he was talking about his wife. And then afterwards, he texted me. He's like, I love the results. My wife loves the results. And anytime, like, especially a man starts like texting me things that aren't really necessary, I'm like, okay, like, red flag.
immediately.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, send your wife in.
Yeah. That's the
Yeah, like
perfect
why
thing to
wasn't
say.
she there then? Yeah.
Yeah. And then, because I'm like redirecting it like towards his wife or whatever.
Right.
And also like, okay, what do I say to that? And then he basically just ended up, he was like, well, you know, my wife actually gave me a hall pass, and do you offer, like, would you come to my house? Because you can't, he's like, you can't do extras out of your salon loft. And I'm like, no, I absolutely do not. First he said, do you wax out of clients' houses? And I was like, no.
Right.
I only wax out of my business.
That
And
you
then-
also pay to have a location for.
Yes, yeah. And then he was like, okay, well, my wife gave me a hall pass, and I thought you were very attractive, and I'm not being pushy, but
He said, I'm not being pushy,
yeah.
as he's asking.
I'm so sorry that like happened to you though, because it feels violating probably to you, because it's just like you just perform this service and then that happens, then you're like, oh, now where do I draw the line with clients like this, you know? And it's like you don't want to just categorize probably all the men as like the same.
It's beyond unfortunate to have that experience.
I was gonna say, you probably have some people that message you that, like, have you turned people down before they even step foot, or like before they could even step foot in your business?
No.
Nobody's been creepy ahead of time. That's amazing.
Well, I guess so. Like, I've been getting prank phone calls, which I think is just like extremely immature. They've been from, it sounds like young boys, and they're like, can you wax my penis? Ha, ha, ha.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh my God, I just like hang up. But then I got a call like that. I was in Home Depot with my kids, and I got a call, and a guy was like, hi, I'm going to book an appointment. It's my first time waxing. And I was like, okay, what would you like to get done? He was like, well, my sister gave me a list of services that I should get done. He was like, do you offer like a deep wax? And I was like, I don't know what you're referring to. And then he's like, okay. And then he's like, do you offer like any like milk waxing? And I was like trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I was like, I hope you're not implying what I think that you're implying.
Oh God.
And then he was like, and I was like, this sounds like a prank phone call. Is this a prank phone call? And he was like, no, I'm totally serious. I'm just new to this. And I'm like, okay, sir, what can I help you book? And he was like, I know this sounds crazy, but this was on the list. Do you offer wanking? And I was like, dude.
Yeah.
And so I hung up.
Yeah.
And I sent him a message, and I was like, you're not allowed. It probably was a prank, but I was like,
It sounds like it was a prank.
yeah, it sounds like it was a prank, but I was like, yeah, you're not allowed to book an appointment. So I guess there was that guy.
Okay. That is just,
Wild.
I don't want to seem so surprised. Like, like you said, like you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's just like, I'm sure
It's just like, it's funny because like I forget even like prank calling days, like kids, like I feel like you'd prank call like Pizza Hut and say like, hello, this is McDonald's. Not like I don't know, something kind of like, I don't know, little kids,
like,
and like, oh my God, there's private parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Well, I do assume they're 12, to be honest.
Probably.
definitely.
Like, somebody take their phone away.
Yeah.
No, okay, so I found the text. So he first goes, hey there, blah, blah, blah here. I got Wax Friday and I wanted to thank you. I love it. Hi, yay, so happy to hear that. It really is the best. She loves it too. I showed her your profile and website and she loved it. I told her about it and we were both happy with the results. Yay, tell her to come see me too. And then he says, we will see. I told her you're my wax girl now. LOL winky face. I don't reply because that's weird. And then he goes, she said she didn't mind before, but made sure she was fine with it afterwards. First girl to see me naked from the waist down since we have been together. I was a little nervous. Didn't respond because that's...
And now
is this like a younger guy, or is he middle aged?
Middle aged.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
You're
probably
like
brain is fully developed.
Oh, yeah.
Brain's fully developed. Got it.
Yeah, like not even middle age. I mean, probably like 60.
older gentleman.
Yeah. Yeah. I do have a question, ... Good afternoon. What is your question? Do you only wax at your salon? Yes, I only do treatments at the salon. Okay. Don't respond. Well, me and my wife are a little bit different. She gave me my first ever hall pass. I was wondering if you did more intimate waxing. Just know you can't do that kind of stuff at a salon. I'm not being pushy, but I told her that I found you attractive and nice. I was like, Derek, I'm a licensed professional, not a prostitute, so I do not engage in any type of sexual services. I have it listed out on my consent form. So in the consent form, there is like a sexual harassment policy, and it's like you can't make comments about my appearance.
All kinds of things.
All
I'm
kinds
sure.
of things.
Yeah.
But I think for men, I might actually start like printing it out and having them look just at like the sexual harassment.
Yeah, like sign
form.
on the spot.
Yeah.
You know, I do think that
a
is
great idea,
the
though.
really difficult thing about like learning to work with people and the masses and having such a customer facing position that you have. It's like, unfortunately, the more and more that you do it, it's like, thank goodness these contracts are there as a safeguard, because I just know even in my own business, I'm not a customer service facing one, but my workers are, and there are so many occurrences where I go back and I revamp the contract, and I revamp the contract out of experience and out of learning, you know, different ways that people will try to finagle all kinds of things. So thank God that you have that, and especially if that can be a safeguard to help you at least maintain getting to offer that service, because it would be a bummer if you had, you know, one or two guys ruins it for everyone, and then people who actually care for the service can't have access to it.
Right.
So,
And just for
amazing.
future women business owners too, I think it's way more common for us to just kind of like want to be more accepting, or just like not think the worst in someone, or not think to have to do these types of things and have these protocols in place. And we have to.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, it's a necessity, and it's not everyone, but like,
You're so right. It's like
you're dealing with the
you go so
the
many
people of
times
the world.
you go so many times with having just like amazing client after amazing client. It's like, I don't know, for me, I feel like I'd probably like forget, you know, to be so on guard, and then it's like all it takes is the one weirdo and boom.
It's not even like, there's so many other examples too, and I've only been doing it for a few months. I mean, I haven't even been open for a year, so it definitely
Right.
is more common for sure with the men.
It's
I've
really
noticed.
starting to add up.
And there's not a lot of women who offer male waxing for this reason. And none of it like bothers me that much, but my best friend, she owns her own business, and she's a massage therapist, and she deals with this so much.
Oh, I'm sure.
So we've been like trying to figure out like what we can
Is there
do.
a world where you would like, you know, or maybe like a future goal to have somebody else be the one answering the phone, setting the appointments, as opposed to just directly to you?
You know, people mainly book online. I actually have it on my website. I don't answer phone calls. I'm back to back with clients, so you can text
To just
me.
book directly.
Yeah,
Right.
and I'll eventually text you back, but just book online.
Just have somebody field the messages
But
for you.
eventually, I'm sure it will get to a point where there will be someone else handling the text messages.
Yeah. Goals.
The one time I got a massage, this lady had a candle, and it said, "I do not offer happy finishes." And it was just burning. It was just
Yeah.
right there in plain sight for everyone to see.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
this
just
poor
burning.
woman. It just makes me sad because, you know, you have to think about what it took to get
Yeah,
there.
like I'm just like,
Oh, yeah.
clearly she's, you know, if you're in that field, like you've had some idiots doing, or like
Yeah.
saying something like that, or assuming, or I don't know. It's just,
Unfortunate.
Yeah,
Unfortunate,
it's so unfortunate.
yeah.
And like you said, it's like, man, like, why do you guys have to ruin it for everybody?
yeah.
Like they just.
But I would never, the respectful current clients that I have, I do love them, and I would never just stop taking them.
Yeah.
So if I don't know, if it continues, I would possibly go to referral only, but I'm going to keep it open for right now. We'll see how it is. But yeah.
Okay, you guys, you heard it here. You know where to go. You know how not to act.
And, you know, the before and after care with some hot tips.
Yeah, we're gonna come to you with probably a video at some point.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I'm
Do
looking
you
forward
have
to that.
anything else that you want to say to the audience?
Get waxed. Don't be nervous. Your waxer is not going to judge you. The waxer is literally seeing people naked all day, every day. I know it's vulnerable, but it's so worth it. It's so much better than shaving.
Sweet. And what's your handle? Shout yourself out.
Bear It All Wax Lounge St. Louis on Instagram. and BarrettOutWaxLounge.com.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be like the first guest. I know you had like the boys on, but yeah, I'm so excited.
You're the first official. So thank you so much for bearing with us and for having such an enjoyable conversation. Yeah. We appreciate it. And we'll see you guys all soon.
Bye. This is just an extra piece if you kept listening.
Bonus.
But this is a funny story. So when I booked my appointment with Riley, I'd never obviously been to this place before. And it's a room that has multiple businesses in it, or like a building.
Because I'm in a salon loft.
Okay. Yeah. A salon loft. And I didn't really know what those were before. So every business has their own door in this loft. And so I'm going in, and I think I was like running early, and
amazing for you.
I know I'm not quite like you, but like I'm getting there. But so I saw like where her door was, and I'm like, do I wait out here? But like, if I wait out here, like, will she know I'm here? Like, do I just go in? Like, are there multiple rooms? Yeah. Like, I just had no idea. And so I'm like,
one of like the weird things, like any new place that you go, it's like, what is the etiquette?
Yeah.
Like truly.
Well, especially like that, where it's just like, I just didn't know it was like just the room. And so I'm like, I don't know if I knocked, or I was just like starting to peep in, and Riley was just like full on like waxing her armpit. And I was just like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry.
Do you feel like you walked in on like a client? Like you felt like you walked in on like the appointment before?
I feel like if that happened to me, I'd be like, what did you just see? But like, she was like, oh hey, like,
I'll be armpit.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's a little bit more. I was recording it too, so I had like my tripod and like my armpit, and I was like, oh my God.
She like content, baby, content.
That's a great piece of content. I'd have loved to see that, but I felt really bad because I was like, of course, like,
no. You'll have to go back and see if you can't find it.
Yeah, honestly,
I don't think I have it. I wish I did though. That would have been so funny.
I love it.
So that was our first encounter, and it was super. The Band-Aid was ripped off right away.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was like, hey, you've seen me and my armpit out, and I think I had like it was like basically a sports bra. I was like a cropped tank or whatever.
Yeah. But it's like we're all girls here.
Yeah,
we're all
no,
getting this
exactly.
stuff waxed. I'm just like, I'm glad that my esthetician she uses her own wax too. Like she does it too. So it's like, why not?
It's the good stuff.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, guys.